All right, so I have a project here that I want to export. But first I want to make it look a little bit more professional, and I want to add a title. So to add a title, you go up to the title menu, new title, and we can do a default still. Okay, now we're brought to this screen, and you'll notice that this corresponds with my timeline here. Okay, so if I move this, it'll also change what's on the previous screen. Okay, so that will help you add a title if you want to sync it up to a particular spot in your video. Okay, or we can also, if I just drag this over, we can set up our title on a blank screen. Okay, so there are a bunch of presets down here. Some of them look kind of crazy, but you can check that out. So for instance, if you wanted to use, I don't know, this one here, click on that, then I can start typing. So I can say like, teen bodybuilding. Okay, then I can use the selection tool to reposition that. And that actually looks like a pretty good title, right? Then you could put underneath it, you know, a documentary. Okay, you can always change the font sizes and everything in the properties on the side here. So I can bump that up in size. But just keep in mind that these crop marks are kind of helping me keep it within the limits of the screen. So don't go beyond these crop marks. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So I'll keep that. So this is a little bit unintuitive, but there's no kind of done button or OK button. You actually have to click the X. Now that title is added to my project library. So I see it down here. I can drag it into my timeline, and it acts just like a video or a picture. I can extend it if I want to. And I can also overlap it on top of video. So the reason why you might want to do this, if you had, I don't have an example here because this is a screencast of a racing game I was making. But if you had an interview with someone, then you could add a new title. And you could even add like a colored square on the bottom if you wanted to. And we can change the opacity down. Then let's add, well, that's not what I wanted. Then say we have this font here. Okay, then you can put your texture for your talking head. So I just put, I don't know if you can see it, it says Mr. Powell and it says expert underneath. So if I'm your expert on teen bodybuilding, then you can kind of put that up on the screen for a second. You can see that can overlap here. And you can also make these appear just for a second so that we can see once the person starts talking, we can see, okay, that's who they are, then you can make it disappear. You don't have to have it for the full duration of your interview. Okay. So I'd recommend for your documentary, have an intro title. You introduce your talking heads, your experts. You don't have to introduce your vox pops. If you're just doing a few kind of random interviews, you don't have to necessarily introduce all of them. But if you have a talking head expert, then definitely have a indication who they are. The other thing you might want to have a title for is if you are asking a question and you've edited out your question and you're getting multiple answers. So we can say like, okay, so that could be a question that you have on the screen, and then following that you have your vox pop of people saying, oh, I go to the gym 5 times a week. I go to the gym 8 times a week. Okay? So you could do that as well. And last but not least, you probably want to have some kind of credits. You can experiment with the rolls and the crawls, but a default still is probably fine, having several of these. So, you know, you could do your whole director, etc. Okay? And you don't have to fit everything on one screen. If you have lots of people involved, you might want to show your credits on several different titles and have them appear one after another. Okay, so let's put that title at the end here. And I've got my title at the beginning. So if I'm all done and I want to export, I would recommend saving first, because you never know. And then we want to go to File, Export, Media. And I'd recommend when you're exporting to check off this box saying Match Sequence Settings. Okay, because otherwise you might export it in a weird resolution. And this way it'll automatically export it the way that you've been working with it. Okay, you can click this output name. On yours it'll be a yellow link, but on mine it's blue. And that basically just shows you where it's exporting. So you can change the location if you want to save it on the data disk or desktop or whatever. And then once you're good to export, once you set your location, you can click export. And then it's going to do its thing. And then once that's done, the resulting file is what I want you to submit to me. Okay, in the past I've had some people actually submit the project file for Premiere. And the Premiere project file is simply just telling the computer where to find these different videos and how to organize them. It's not your final video, so I can't do anything with that.